Scott Summers is the eldest son of Christopher Summers and his wife Katherine Anne. He has two brothers, one of whom is an Omega-level mutant, Alex and Gabriel Summers. The Summers genetics are extremely powerful for the creation of mutants, especially when combined with great genetics. So much so that Mr. Sinister created a clone of Jean to have a child with Scott to defeat Apocalypse. When the two have children in alternate futures, they are always very powerful, often Omega level or close to it. Some examples are Rachel Summers, Cable, and Nate Gray. But Scott himself doesn't belong to that level. In fact, he's well below it despite being powerful. Within the mutant classification, he's an alpha level, only below the untouchable Omega level. But there is a catch. Alpha level mutants don't have disadvantages regarding their appearance or their powers. They're powerful and can turn them off at will. However, Cyclops is an exception. His powers are alpha level, but due to a childhood brain injury, he can't turn them off. Despite this, he's had more than one opportunity to fix his brain damage, especially now in Krakoa, where mutants are almost like gods. But the character limits himself by his own will, as he is afraid of his true capabilities. But speaking now about what these powers actually are and how they work in practice, he has the ability to fire concussive energy beams from his eyes with a force capable of destroying small planets, as he himself said. And attempting on concussive energy aspect, Cyclops pushes things back rather than incinerating them, unlike Superman's heat vision. It's always good to highlight this detail because most people who don't read comics get confused, and even in the comics, this detail has sometimes been forgotten. He's called Cyclops because, despite having two eyes, the energy beam is a single unified blast instead of two separate beams like Superman's. Although if he closes one eye, he can still use his power, it's not necessary to open both. Thankfully, since on more than one occasion he has lost one of his eyes. His eyes function as extra-dimensional portals to another universe where unlimited concussive energy resides. To do this, he needs energy, so his body constantly absorbs sunlight from the environment and metabolizes it to generate energy and open these portals. Interestingly, all the Summer brothers have energy-based powers, with Gabriel being an Omega-level mutant in this regard. And thanks to the family's genetics, Cyclops is resistant to Alex's energy attacks, just as Alex is resistant to Cyclops' attacks. But, for some reason, both have low resistance to the powers of their brother, Gabriel. Another detail worth highlighting is that Cyclops cannot be harmed by his own powers. This is because he generates a mental energy field that protects him by tuning into the same forces that open the portals in his eyes. The main way he contains this relentless energy is by covering his eyes, as even the thin layer of his eyelid membranes can block his power. But as I mentioned earlier, he is unable to turn off his powers due to a brain trauma, so he needs a device to be able to walk around with his eyes open among people. That's what his glasses are for. They were created by Professor Xavier and are made of synthetic ruby quartz crystals. You know what will be even more powerful than the character's visor? Your like and subscription. With just those two, we can become the biggest nerd channel on YouTube and delve deeper into the stories of the characters we love. These crystals resonate with the psionic field of his mind and become the only substance capable of effectively blocking his blast. His visor, which is made of the same material as his glasses, helps him control the width of his optic blast. After some adventures with his father, his past version became so skilled at controlling the width of his power that he could precisely recreate fingerprints with his laser. Mr. Sinister has revealed that wearing these glasses has made him very dependent, and Emma Frost confirmed this, also stating that his fear of hurting people limits him. It is likely that Cyclops can already control his powers, but it would require a lot of effort in giving up the control provided by the glasses. Although the energy from his eyes is unlimited, the character does not have enough resistance to maintain his power at maximum strength for a long time. It causes significant mental fatigue for him to project energy at a continuous rate, resulting in his power blast losing potency. A rarely mentioned ability of the characters is above average spatial awareness. He can see objects around him with greater precision and, by analyzing angles, use objects to ricochet his energy blasts. He significantly improved this ability thanks to the Danger Room, a facility created by Professor Xavier for training his students. Besides his powers, Cyclops is also one of Marvel's greatest leaders, even holding authority on the same level as Professor Xavier. In Krakoa, he serves as a general, and even Nick Fury praises his skills. stating that Cyclops performs better under pressure and with little time to think of a solution. He's also an excellent hand-to-hand combatant, even teaching other mutants like Colossus. Since he joined the X-Men in his adolescence, he spent much of his life undergoing intensive training to truly become a warrior. He holds black belts in Judo and Aikido, can easily fight against entire groups of people, and has mastered defense techniques at the highest level. He's also one of the best pilots among mutants, something he seems to have inherited from his father. Thanks to his enhanced spatial awareness, it's extremely difficult to shoot down mutants when he's piloting. Another highly developed ability is his mental resilience, thanks to the training with Professor Xavier and other characters. He can even maintain his psychic defenses while unconscious and observe mental battles between telepaths. Even Emma Frost, a powerful and experienced telepath, couldn't penetrate a certain area of his brain, and when she asked, Scott affirmed that he learned from the most powerful telepath in history, Jean. In fact, he's so well trained in this aspect that he managed to lock a small fragment of the entity of forgetfulness within his mind. Cyclops hasn't always been limited to his own powers, as there was a time when he became one of the most powerful beings in the universe. I'm referring to the instance when he merged with the fifth of the Phoenix Force fragment and then took the power for himself, becoming the Dark Phoenix. And I imagine everyone here already knows that the Phoenix is a primordial entity, with just one of its universal aspects capable of challenging Galactus. In this form, Cyclops had complete control over his optic blasts, could fly, his mental abilities evolved considerably, he could manipulate cosmic energy, and his physical attributes were enhanced. In this state, Cyclops was a threat at least on a galactic level and was easily defeating the Avengers and the X-Men combined after being corrupted by power. His blast became so powerful that he surpassed Gladiator's heat vision and was able to injure Thor. His blows easily shattered Iron Man's armor, and he could stop Moihir with his mind. With the full power, he could launch Hulk to another country with just one punch and was causing disasters all over the planet. He was only defeated by the combined efforts of Scarlet Witch, Hope Summers, and theoretically, Jean Grey, the White Phoenix of the Crown, who is far above the Dark Phoenix. But this connection to the Phoenix somehow broke Cyclops' mutant power. Exactly, his power, which was already absurd, became even more potent, but with the consequence of further wearing down the character. Another factor is that his blasts were no longer singular. Whenever he fired, he created smaller additional blasts around the main one, making it harder to dodge. The extra power in his eyes made his old visor inefficient, as it would often burst from his eyes when using his power. Because of this, he spent a considerable amount of time using one in the X shape. Well, those were all the powers and abilities I could list for you about Cyclops. Don't forget to leave suggestions down below for which characters you want me to learn more about and which mutant power you didn't know about. Don't forget to like, share, and leave suggestions for more videos so we can grow together with the best nerd channel on YouTube.